Bitter indignation after seemingly being treated unfairly is the definition of resentment. Many people may not know that that is the definition of resentment because many of us kind of just know what resentment feels like, as opposed to being able to say, yes, this feels like bitter indignation after being treated unfairly. It's important for you to know what resentment is because you could be holding on to a lot of it that could be affecting your life, affecting your relationships, and affecting your desired outcome or your journey towards it. In this video today, what we're going to do is we're going to get you to find where the resentment is in your life. If you have any, maybe you don't have any at all. Maybe you're all good, baby. We don't know. But find where it is, name it, and move forward. Move forward. And the resentment may not go away. I'm not promising you any of that right here. The resentment may still be there. However, it is important, and I think it's useful to you, to know when you're feeling it and say, yeah, I carry some resentment about that, as opposed to not knowing where any resentment is in your life. The question that I really want to point out to you first and foremost is the resentment you're holding something that you don't even know what it is? You can't even name it. You just think it's normal. Or is it something where you're willfully, intentionally holding it? You say, yes, I have some resentment about that, and I'm holding on to it, gosh darn it. Many times I believe it's the former, where we hold on to this calcified moment and we think, that's the way it's supposed to be. In reality, it's not saying it's supposed to be or it's not supposed to be that way, but would you take a brick out of your backpack that was no longer serving you, that you're traveling with? My thought is yes. You'd probably take it out. You'd be like, I don't need this brick, but throw it down. So with resentment, a bitter indignation towards seemingly being treated unfairly, we're just going to run with that definition. The feeling that I've heard it spoken as is it's like having your nervous system stuck in time. Now, to give you an example, microcosm, quarterbacks will take a really strong hit, like just boom, and they'll go down and they'll go to the next play. That's a new play. It's not the same play as before, but their mind is still in the same play. So they'll get what we call seeing ghosts, and they might flinch, all of a sudden because they think that they're going to be hit as they were last time or tackled very hard. It is when our bodies, our physical bodies, are still reliving that cycle of the trauma, that cycle of the inciting point of the hurt, the sadness, the impact, when the void all of a sudden presented itself. Whatever it may be, we will relive these moments to the point that they may really take over our lives. People will live with resentment until the day they die. They may pass resentment on to somebody else. And that person may take the resentment on and say, ah, ha, ha. It's almost like passing down an amulet. It's like, now you have the same resentment as me. But the thing is that what resentment does is it leaves you in a war that is no longer going on, or it puts you in a state of warfare where there was never a war going on to begin with. Many times we will find ourselves in moments of abandonment, moments of turmoil, moments of competition almost, moments of a zero-sum game, moments of I have to defend myself because if I don't, I might get hurt. And what ends up happening is you have people living in these states while outside of them nothing is going on. And here's what happens. We talk about this all the time, as within, so without. Whatever state is going on within this person, it then starts to make their environment all but certain to have the same reflection of what's going on inside the person. The first thing you must do when dealing with resentment, or at least in my 2 cents, is I would say that you have to find where it is. Name the resentment. Many times it's tough for people to name the resentment because we think that it's justified. We think that it's righteous. We think that, dog, I've been about this, man. I can't give this resentment up. This is part of who I am. The resentment has become part of our identity to the point that all of a sudden we We don't even have any agency or autonomy over our lives. The resentment is leading it. I have to go do that thing because resentment. I have to do it because unfairness. And we're continually trying to right a wrong that it's not even existent right now. It only exists because we give it meaning. We have somehow manufactured this lifelong war to deal with it. So number one, name the resentment, point it out. Two, I want you to look at the use of the resentment. Maybe there's a use to it, maybe there's not. My opinion is that there's probably no use to it at all. But it's tough for us to see the function of resentment that we're carrying. I'm going to tell a story at the end of this I've been telling for a while. Maybe you can find a new one, but this one it is so clear and concise to what resentment is and how it can put a burden on you with absolutely no utility. Look at the use and utility of the resentment that you have. What does it do? What does it do for you? Like real talk. What does this resentment do for you? Like, write that down. Name the resentment, write down the utility of it. What is it doing? And then lastly, and we'll get into this in the next video as well, but it's what does it look like? What does your life look like without that resentment? What does that look like? What does that feel like maybe? Maybe we're no longer in that state of war. We don't need to put up our guard the whole time. We don't have to be ready for like a counter all the time. We're not there anymore. There's no ring, there's no bell, there's no fight going on. This is neither simple or easy. So I'm just trying to walk you through it. Name the resentment. What is the utility of the resentment? And three, what would your life look like without it? Now, I'm not saying let go of it right away. I mean, these are things that some of us have been holding on for our whole life. The next step after all of that would be, okay, make the choice. Intentionally hold on to it or let it go. Do you want to hold on to this resentment or not? And letting go of the resentment doesn't mean letting people live carte blanche like in your life and doing whatever they want. This is the third. It means, are you willing to let it live rent-free in your head? And if so, what does that mean? What does that look like? What does that come down to? So to give you a quick story, I'm gonna try to find a different story here. As I've told this story many times, the one of the plate that was in the cupboard of my mother's house. I moved back in with my mother to like help her out with like a bunch of health stuff after I got out of college. And there was this plate in the cupboard. And the plate I thought was a gift from an ex of mine. So I would always look at the plate as like, and it was a very nice plate, very nice plate. And I would always look at the plate and be like, whatever. I held all the meaning of the past relationship with it, with all my projections were thrown upon this plate, right? And so I would, feel a certain way about the plate. I had resentment for that whole situation, and I put it into the plate. One day the plate ends up breaking, and I call my mom and I say, hey, the plate from so-and-so broke. And she said, well, it's not so-and-so's. I bought that from, whoop-de-whoop. And I was like, oh, so that was never, no, it wasn't. It showed me that I had been resenting a plate for no damn reason at all. No reason. I'd made up the reason. The resentment it never helped me, it never did anything. And once I gave it up, I really truly gave it up. I remember 5 years after an inciting point happening, and I was still like, I still was a curmudgeon about it. Like I still had this resentment in me about it. I carried that for probably 10 years until I went to therapy. And when I went to therapy, it wasn't just I was able to let go right away. I was able to notice what it was doing to my life and how much it was hamstringing so many things going on. Now, I could have held on to it. That's not to say something's bad or good. We're not going to get into that meritocratic stuff here. But it was to say that what I wanted from my life and what I wanted for my life, I wasn't going to be able to achieve it by holding on to this silly resentment. And I call it silly resentment because in the moment it felt serious, but in reality, it wasn't doing anything for me. If anything, it sabotaged relationships. It had me walking on eggshells with my own creativity. I was looking through a certain lens that wouldn't allow me to expand any of the friendships that I had. There was a lot going on with it. But once I was able to let go, here's the deal about letting go of resentment is that it is just the beginning. When you confront your resentment and let it go, that's just the beginning. It may take days, weeks, years afterwards. Because once I let it go, everything, you're going right to left, it just exponentially got better. Like everything just expanded. And I wasn't in the frame of the resentment, which also, strangely, it held on to like a fair amount of shame. And I don't know why that was there, but there was a bunch of shame like lopped in with it. And I felt like, because it had nothing to do with anybody else. Like it's all just me locked in the moment. But the idea was like I felt shame for how things had happened or what had gone down or what could have been done differently. And all it ever did was just take me out of the present moment. Just take me right out of the present moment. Name it. Point out the resentment. Write down the use and utility that the function of it in your life. How does it operate? Lastly, what would your life look like without it? I wish you the best of luck on writing those things down. And do it as an exercise as well, because it takes time. It takes time. And your life is big, dog. Like your life is super big. Like find where these moments are. I'm sure you'll find them. All right. That's all we got for you today in this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one.